Hello everyone and welcome to PendulumEdu, and I am here to discuss a few words with you for today. The article that we've taken for today is Safe Session on Monsoon Session of Parliament. Now when I say safe session on monsoon session, which means monsoon has come up and with it brings a lot of diseases and infections. So probably because of that, or maybe the monsoon session is a session in the parliament. Let's have a look in the article and throw some light on it. Parliament not only needs more space during a pandemic, but also more time. The parliament session from September 14 will see many firsts. Will see many firsts means it'll experience a lot of new processes, like something or things that have not happened before. The Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha will alternate their sittings, one day, the other day, like this, so that members can spread over both chambers to ensure physical distancing. Necessitated is the verb used right here, that is to make necessary, ज़रूरी बनाना. तो जैसा कि कोविड-19 पैंडेमिक ने चीज़ नेसेसिटेट कर दिया है कि सबको सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग मेंटेन करके रखना होगा, फिजिकल डिस्टेंस रखना ही होगा टू सेव देमसेल्व्स, तो ये उन्होंने डिसाइड किया है कि राज्यसभा लोकसभा की सिटिंग्स ऑल्टरनेट डेज होंगी, सो दैट वन पर्टिकुलर सभा कुड ऑक्यूपाई द चेंबर्स एंड कुड सिट अवे फ्रॉम ईच अदर. Even the visitor galleries will be occupied by the MPs. There will be 18 sittings without any weekend break or holiday. The break between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. would be used to disinfect the chambers. Disinfect is a verb which means to safeguard it or clean it using chemicals or disinfectants, जिसे हम हिंदी में कहते हैं किसी जगह को शुद्ध करना. Alright, that is disinfect. So जो break time होगा 1 और 3 का, उधर chambers को disinfect किया जाएगा. The presiding officers of both houses have had trial runs, but it will be a tough act for them and the MPs who are used to huddling together and speaking aloud. Huddle is a verb. Huddle means to gather. Okay, इकट्ठा होना, एकत्र होना. Okay, ढेर लगाना जैसे हम कहते हैं. So वो है huddle. तो उनको जिनको कि एमपीज को आदत है एकदम हडल करके और चिल्ला के बात करना, स्पीकिंग अलाउड, तो वो कह रहे हैं कि उनके लिए हो सकता है कि ये प्रॉब्लम हो. तो ये एक तरीके का आप कह सकते हैं, इट्स अ टॉन्ट एज वेल. टू डेलिबरेट अक्रॉस टू चैम्बर्स एंड कीपिंग अ सेफ डिस्टेंस फ्रॉम वन अनदर, तो ये थोड़ी सी प्रॉब्लमैटिक हो सकती है, दो इट इज़ नॉट अ प्रॉब्लम, सबको अपनी जान प्यारी है. There will be no question hour. This is important. Though members can get written answers to written questions. There will be no question hour, but to written questions, they can have written answers. Let's go ahead. The 0 hour, where any member can raise issues of urgent national importance, will not be an hour, but only 30 minutes. That will not be an hour. This 0 hour has been turned down and has been reduced to 30 minutes. Wherein urgent national importance points would be discussed. The opposition has gone quiet on these changes in parliamentary modalities after some initial objections. Modality is noun, which means mode of working or mode of the act or the process. एक जो प्रोसीजर होता है, एक जो तरीका होता है. ओके, अब एक चीज़ देखिए, यहाँ पर एक वर्ड है क्वाइट. QUIET is शांत रहने वाला, चुप रहने वाला, silent. QUITE quite is about enough, काफी, sufficient. जैसे she is quite intelligent, तो हम ये वाला quite use करेंगे. Keep quiet, this one. Pronunciation में भी difference है. This is quiet, quiet, quite, quite, quiet. Alright, this is important to understand. And when you use it in a sentence, sometimes in closed test you can get it to confuse you, or in the error spotting. After some initial obligations, तो उन्होंने वो जो modalities हैं उनमें changes के लिए वो शांत हो गए, क्योंकि जब उनके ऊपर objection उठाया जाता है तो opposition फिर उस चीज़ को लेके चुप हो गया. Recently, the assemblies of opposition ruled states, Kerala, Rajasthan, Punjab, and West Bengal met, and none of them had a question hour. The executive branch has expanded its power globally in the wake of the pandemic, in the wake of as a consequence. कहते हैं ना परिणाम स्वरूप. तो किसके परिणाम स्वरूप? पैंडेमिक के, कोविड पैंडेमिक के परिणाम स्वरूप एग्जीक्यूटिव ब्रांच ने अपनी पावर जो है ग्लोबली expand की है, and not really using it as a facade for aggrandizement. Facade. Okay, I'm going to wipe off the screen and explain you. Facade is noun, which means a kind of mask. कहते हैं ना मुखौटा, तो उस मुखौटे को पहन के aggrandizement मतलब increasing, increase. Aggrandizement is a noun which means increase, बढ़ोतरी. Okay, तो उन्होंने क्या किया, इस पावर को यूज करके पैंडेमिक के चलते उन्होंने इस मुखौटे को क्या किया है, आगे बढ़ने के लिए इस्तेमाल किया एग्जीक्यूटिव ब्रांच ने, और उन्होंने इस चीज का फायदा उठाया है और अपना जो स्कोप है उसको बढ़ा लिया. द attenuation of parliament overshadowed by a strong executive has been a concern in India even after the pandemic. ये एक मेजर कंसर्न रहा है इंडिया के लिए, क्योंकि ये एक स्ट्रॉन्ग एग्जीक्यूटिव ने इसको ओवरशैडो कर लिया, इस पे एकदम से कास्ट कर लिया अपनी पावर. In ensuring executive accountability, accountability is noun which means responsibility, that is जिम्मेदारी. And voicing people's concerns, Parliament's role was found wanting. भाई Parliament का role था जो कि ज़रूरी माना जा रहा था. It was counted that Parliament is to come up and speak up on it as to ensure कि executive अपनी responsibility को ध्यान से कर रहा है और people के जो concerns हैं वो भी address हो रहे. In lawmaking, it was increasingly being railroaded by the executive. Railroaded by the executive. It's a verb which means to make do something. Like आप किसी से जबरदस्ती कुछ काम करा रहे हो. Okay? So it was increasingly being railroaded by the executive. वो executive ने इसको ज़बरदस्ती important बना दिया था, ज़बरदस्ती ये काम करवाया था. These unhealthy trends appear to have been accelerated by the pandemic. Pandemic के चलते ये चीज़ें और बढ़ती चली गईं. The government must be held accountable by Parliament on the management of the pandemic. But that is not all. They say that, okay, fine, the government is responsible for it. The government should come up and take the responsibility of it. But this is not all. यहाँ पर सारी चीज़ें ख़त्म नहीं होती हैं. Fine, government is one who is responsible for it. But what about the others? Right? So it says that, for instance, if we are talking about, or if we discuss some or the other way, like, how would not just government, what is the role of other people in the country? What about the law-abiding citizens? We always vouch for that. Okay, we are with the government, we are for the government. If government is with us, then what are we doing? So it's not just the government who has to be blamed for the things happening around. Apart from the major decisions, there are things that we have to take as well. Further, the writer says, there is a long list of issues that requires detailed attention and deliberation by people's representatives, such as China's aggression on the LSE. Now, this is the standoff that we have discussed in the previous articles, I guess 3 to 4 times, because every time a new article comes out, we make sure that we discuss it with you. The challenges on the economic front, the centre's refusal to meet its commitment to states under the GST regime, the coming election in Bihar in the midst of the pandemic, the situation in Jammu and Kashmir, and worsening ties with India's neighbors. So what is it saying? That it is saying that they're the other important points to share concern on, to have your attention and to pay attention to. These are the things that I have to pay attention to. Why are we worried? Why are we just worried about this? We have to require, we need this attention to be driven to these things as well. The Congress has been combative on these issues. Combative is an adjective which means, in Hindi we say jujharu, that is willing to fight or strive for something. Fight, H. और strive मतलब struggle करने के लिए आप तैयार हैं, आप जुझारू in these issues. तो कहते हैं कि कांग्रेस हमेशा से इस बात पर combative रही है इन चीज़ों को लेके, while the government has not been very responsive. Government उतना responsive नहीं रही है. Regional parties in power appear too overwhelmed by the pandemic to pay attention to other issues. Overwhelm, it is a verb which means having excess of something. किसी चीज़ का जैसे अभिभूत हो जाना, like बहुत ज़्यादा किसी चीज़ को feel करना या होना. So वो overwhelm हो चुके pandemic से, and to pay attention to these issues. Like now it's high time. The government has 11 bills to replace ordinances. The bill to replace taxation and other laws. Ordinance 2020, which will seek to amend. Amend is a verb which means make changes. This is basically sudhar lana, okay? The Income Tax Act to enable 100% deduction to donations made to PM Cares Fund is a controversial one among them. The opposition and the government must work together to turn the session into an opportunity to share views on all these questions and present a united, reassuring front before the country. Now, the writer suggested that the opposition and the ruling party, they should come together in this scenario amid the crisis the country is going through, and they should together strive to achieve a desired target or goal. They should have a common target, the other way, to lessen the burden, to lessen or to mitigate the problems that they are facing, and together they can achieve the goal faster and easier way or manner, you can say. So to assure, to front, that is to reassure the front before the country, a positive front, they have to come together. This has been a suggestion made by the writer. So this was the article that was to be discussed for today. That is safe session or monsoon session, where we're talking about the real monsoon thing and the things that have been changed in the parliament sessions for the coming sessions, and what else is going through when it comes to the ruling party and the opposition. So this is the entire article, and the word that I want you to focus on would be combative. Combative is an adjective which means willing to fight. हिंदी में मैंने कहा कि वो जुझारू होते हैं, वो लोग जो तरीके अपनाते हैं नए नए किसी चीज़ से लड़ने का और उस चीज़ को सॉर्ट आउट करने का, सॉल्व करने का, they are combative. Okay, so this was the entire article and the session for today. The list of the words is right there on the site. You can go and look for the list and practice these words, as I always say. Do not forget to hit the like button to the video and subscribe the channel for more such sessions with us. Thank you so much. Keep learning and keep growing.